You were the one who stayed late frequently. You solved the hardest problems. And then promotion time came. And someone less competent than you got the role. Not the smartest. Not the most productive. Not the one who saved the project 3 times. The last person you thought would get it. If that ever made you feel confused, frustrated, or even a little invisible, you're not alone. Because promotions are rarely about pure technical skill. And the uncomfortable truth is this: the engineers who get promoted fastest often follow a completely different playbook. A playbook most professionals were never taught. But once you see it, you'll start noticing it everywhere. In your company, in leadership meetings, even in your own career decisions. And it starts with a question almost nobody thinks about. What does promotion actually measure? Most professionals believe promotions reward 3 things: technical excellence, hard work, and commitment. Those matter, but they're not what promotions are primarily designed to reward. Promotions are signals of trust. Not trust in your competence only, but trust in your impact. When leadership promotes someone, they're asking one simple question. If we give this person more responsibility, will they make the organization stronger? Will they shift the average level to a higher standard? And that's where many brilliant engineers unknowingly sabotage themselves. Because they focus on solving problems, while promoted engineers focus on shaping outcomes. There's a huge difference. A highly technical engineer might spend weeks perfecting a complex system optimization. An average engineer who gets promoted faster might instead ask a completely different question. Which problem matters most to leadership right now? That shift alone changes everything. The first hidden reason average engineers often win promotions is visibility of impact. Engineering culture often celebrates quiet excellence. Solve the issue, record the lesson learned, move on. But promotions require something different. Your work needs to be visible, not just to your team, but to the people who decide promotions. And that doesn't mean bragging. It means translating your work into business value. For example, instead of saying, "I optimize the database queries," a promotion-ready engineer might frame it like this: "This change reduced page load time by 40% and improved customer retention during peak hours." Same work, different signal. Leadership doesn't promote technical achievements, they promote results. And the engineers who understand this early gain a competitive advantage. The second reason average engineers often get promoted faster is something often overlooked by technical people. They communicate better. Many brilliant engineers assume their work speaks for itself. But in organizations, work only matters when people understand its value. Promoted engineers explain decisions. They connect technical work to business priorities. They help non-engineers understand trade-offs. And they're often the most emotionally intelligent in the room. And when leadership needs someone to guide a project, they naturally gravitate toward the person who already communicates clearly across teams and navigates conflicts without drama. Even if that person isn't the strongest or the most technically competent in the room. Because leadership roles are not about solving every problem personally. They're about aligning people around solutions. And that requires communication, relationships, and influence, far more than technical perfection. And here's where many incredibly talented engineers unknowingly hold themselves back. They assume their career will naturally progress if they keep improving technically. But organizations don't promote based on potential. They promote based on perceived readiness. And readiness isn't just about skill. It's about signals. Signals that you can handle broader responsibility. Signals that you speak and understand management language. Signals that others will follow your lead. And average engineers who move ahead faster are often simply better at sending those signals. Not because they're manipulative, but because they understand how organizations actually work. Now here's something that might surprise you. Being technically exceptional can sometimes slow promotions. Not because excellence is not important, but because organizations depend heavily on their strongest problem solvers. When someone becomes the go-to expert for difficult issues, or the unique person who can cover a certain gap, leaders subconsciously hesitate to move them away from that role. The system needs them exactly where they are. Meanwhile, engineers who multiply themselves by sharing knowledge, mentoring others, and elevating team performance become easier to promote because their value scales beyond their own output. This is why mentorship is one of the most powerful promotion accelerators. When you help others grow, leadership begins to see you differently, not just as someone who solves problems, but as someone who multiplies capability. That's leadership, even before the title appears. The third hidden factor is initiative beyond assigned tasks. Top engineers often jump from one problem or project to another. Promoted engineers look for problems before they're assigned. They notice patterns. They ask questions like, which project provides the highest ROI with the least investment? What if we redesigned this system entirely? And then they propose the best investment effort project to prioritize. That's a completely different level of thinking. Instead of reacting to work, they start shaping the environment around the work. Leadership notices that immediately, because initiative reduces management effort. And when someone consistently makes your job easier as a leader, they quickly become someone you trust with more responsibility. There's another subtle reason average engineers sometimes move ahead. They understand something called the decision layer. Most engineers operate at the execution layer. They implement projects and systems, fix process deviations. But promoted engineers gradually move closer to where decisions are made. They join design discussions. They contribute future-proof ideas during planning. They share operational constraints like long-term capacity and capability. And over time, leadership begins to see them not just as implementers, but as contributors to direction. That's a huge shift in perception. Over time, people begin associating their name with strategy and progress. And when promotion discussions happen behind closed doors, they promote people they can clearly imagine in the next role. And that mental picture forms long before the promotion cycle begins. The good news is, none of this requires becoming someone you're not. It simply requires expanding the way you think about your career. Technical excellence remains incredibly valuable, but it becomes far more powerful when combined with visibility, communication, initiative, and strategic awareness. When those elements work together, you stop being seen only as a great engineer. You start being seen as someone who moves the organization forward, and that's exactly the type of person leadership promotes. If you found value in this video, subscribe to the channel for more career growth strategies. And if you want a personalized strategy to accelerate your promotion path, book a one-on-one career strategy session using the link in the description below.